the title.
Number one. Keep it full, nothing less or more. For my people. I score every time for sure.
Basically, I met Junior his sophomore year at Seabrook Park, the basketball gym out of Seabrook across the street from Fayetteville State University. I met him through a mutual contact. We played one-on-one for about an hour, and then I went with him to his AAU practice out at Word of God in Raleigh, North Carolina, and where I played defense for about another 2 hours. And then on our way back from Raleigh, we were sitting in the back seat of the truck, and we exchanged numbers. And man, that was the beginning of the summer, and we probably worked out 4 to 5 times a week during that whole summer. But after AAU season, of course. Well, the summer his sophomore year, basically that's when I found out that Junior was probably the best athlete in the world. Some of the routines that I was putting him through, and I'd never seen him with fresh legs. He always had dead legs, and he always crushed his workouts. He always was the springiest, the bounciest, the fastest person on the court. So at that time, I was just trying to figure out, how is this man keeping up with these workouts and just killing his routines and being able to lend so much of his body and still go to school and still go to practice and play in the games. And that's when I came to the conclusion that this might be the best athlete in the world. He absolutely was the #1 point guard in the nation his sophomore year, and that summer's preparation, I think, really helped a lot. Junior season is when the world knew that he was the #1 point guard in the nation. They doubled and triple teamed him every game. You can't guard him one-on-one. I mean, under any system, any defensive scheme, you just can't guard the man. So basically, leading into his junior season, his sophomore summer, he just gained a little bit of weight. He got mature physically, and that enhanced his performance greatly. And just his off-the-court antics, like, he's such a professional that you don't have to call him and say, let's work out. He'll call you and say, it's time to work out. He's a workaholic. He worked out with old ladies, young boys, guys his age. It didn't matter. As long as he put the work in, as long as he felt satisfied with his performance on and off the court, then, But as far as his junior year goes, I really believe our relationship got stronger simply because we were spending more time away from basketball. Like, I would go to his house and we'd play the video game, or we'll just watch old clips of old basketball, old defense, offense for hours, And I think that's when the two brains came into contact. We really started to mesh then. The injury, the ACL tear. Well, I was sitting at home, and he was at a camp. I don't remember if it was the Adidas Uprising camp or was it a Jordan Classic, but I got a call, and I think it was his dad. It was his dad or somebody who was at the camp. I can't remember. They said that Junior tore his ACL in the game, and I just put my head down, but then I put my head up and I just prayed, and I was like, everything gonna be all right, because his work ethic speaks for itself. So I knew he was gonna bounce back. So I know he was down for a while, but to be honest, when he came back from Vegas, which I believe he went, about 2 to 3 days after that, like, he was over it. He was ready to work. He actually called me one day and he was like, what can I do while I'm just sitting here? So I ran to Play It Again Sports, and I grabbed 2 20-pound dumbbells, took him to his grandma's house, and I showed him some routines to do while he was in his brace. And I mean, he was just working out in the brace, like doing upper body. So at that point, I knew that it was going to be no problem for him to bounce back after this. He can work out like this in a full brace. I knew when it was time for him for rehab, it was going to be great. And the rehab process was lovely, because I actually got to go see him rehab, and I learned a lot from his physical therapist about what exercise and stretches that he needed to do in order for him to gain all flexibility and gain strength back in his leg, which we implemented into our routines, the swimming, the stretching and everything. So that just made it more enjoyable to see a smile on his face that he knew he was going to bounce back. And I was determined to help him get there. I wasn't really a major component for him at NC State, being is that, he's at a university now, and they have their trainers and whatnot, and I didn't want to impose. When he came home, I trained him. He never left me out of the loop. I always used to ask him about his body and how things is going, and if he had any questions from one of the other trainers that he didn't feel like was right, he would let me know, like, yeah, am I supposed to be doing this? And I'll let him know. And most of the time, I don't want to put that out there, but we got it right. And yeah, I wasn't too much a factor physically. I won't say I wasn't mentally. And I went to about 8 or 10 games, and I seen him a lot. But as far as training goes, while he was at NC State, I wouldn't say I was a major factor at that point. So after March, he sent me a text, and he said it's time to work. So basically, after the season, I would go up there about maybe three times a week, basically, Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And he was actually under a very intense regimen with myself and his other trainer that he had there. He was working out 3 times a day in preparation for the league. So basically, he would train basketball skill set, 90 minutes, and then I would walk in on his on his hourly, and I would walk in, and he'd see me, and he would just put his head down like, oh, here come this dude. And then I would work him out for almost 2 hours, and then he'd go home, eat, sleep, shower, study, whatever he had to do, and then he'd go back to the gym and work out again. Well, this continued all the way up into the draft. And really, I believe that strengthened our relationship a lot more, because at that point, now, this is a grown man body now. I don't have to teach him anything. He knows everything. All I have to do is bring the dog, which I'm great at doing. So, 2 dogs in the backyard, I knew he was going to bite somebody once he got to the NBA, which he's doing now. We had worked out Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then on Friday, he had a NBA visit. We had to go visit some NBA teams, and he called me and he said, I need to get a good hit workout in before I go take this West Coast trip. So I get to the gym, and we work out together. We do interval training, and we run it on the treadmill, and then we're doing plyo, and we're doing all different types of exercises. And then I know his legs were dead afterwards because mine were dead, and I worked out every day. So I go home, I get some rest. I wake up to a text that said, Dennis Smith Jr. just jumped 48-inch. Highest recording NBA vert since, I don't know who they said, Larry Nance or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, I know he jumps higher than 48 inches. They caught him on a bad day. I can guarantee you the man can jump 52 inches off the ground. It's just that I know the day before they recorded that, he worked out 3 times, and then he did a hit routine with me on a day that he normally doesn't work out. So with that being said, if we had to do it all over again, I probably wouldn't have went out there and trained him, and he probably would have jumped to 52. His rookie season, I really sat back and watched. We had tons of communication his rookie season. I probably text or called him every other day. I only got to make it out to one game. I had a very hectic work schedule, and that was due partially to the fact that my brand was building. The fourth quarter hoops was building, and he understood that. He's got a very big family, and they're very supportive of him, so it was not a problem with him. But he had a better season than most of the rookies in the NBA did. He just his team didn't do too good. He had an awesome season. In my eyes, I think he averaged 15 points, 5 assists, a little under 2 steals, maybe I think 3 to 4 rebounds, which is great in the West Coast, which is very good. I actually thought, he could have been an all-star that year, and definitely the dunk champ. He got snubbed in that. All in all, I think that his rookie year was very productive. He learned a lot up under Dirk. They got a great returning core, and I think he's gonna really turn some heads next year. The relationship is great now. It's probably stronger than ever. He's a grown man now. He makes great on and off the court decisions. And he's very inspirational to me because, like I said, he went through an injury, and at the same time he went through his injury, my father had passed, and he actually attended my father's funeral in a full brace 2 weeks after he tore his ACL. So he's done some pretty commendable things, and it's just he's done things that for me, and I've done things for him that you can't get that quality of friendship off the street. So, you know, as far as our relationship goes now, I think that right now we'll probably be the strongest we ever been. And moving forward, it's going to be a great relationship business-wise.